As an offer owner, the reason why you're stuck at 15K per month isn't your offer. It's how you close your sales call. In this video, I'm breaking down a high ticket sales call where the client paid me thousands, and I'm gonna walk you through the dark psychology behind every stage of the call. I do have to skip through sensitive details for client privacy, but I'm not holding back on the frameworks I use during this call. So grab a notebook, because if you don't understand these, you'll never break out of 15K per month jail. Moving forward, you need to treat all your sales calls as if you're going on a first date. And you'll learn what I mean by this as we go through this video. But the first part of every date is breaking through the ice. And same thing with sales calls. And this is where most of you lose all your prospects, because you commit the biggest sin when it comes to seduction: talking too much. This comes off as overcompensating, and while you're on a date, this runs the risk of you talking yourself out of the goods, so to speak. But you also can't talk too little. The goal during the icebreaker section is to have enough back and forth conversation with your prospect so that they can confirm that you are the same person they've been talking to up to this point. Nothing more, nothing less.
I'm good. How are you, Lionel?
Amazing.
Nice.
I seen your come up, man.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
I know we've been back and forth a little bit in DMs. You are out of all the people, because that's typically how those first calls go. It's like I give them all the information, right, and I just tell people exactly what to do in order to grow their account. And then I have so many of those calls. There are only two other people that have used the information and gotten results. Everybody else just drops off, which is it's really a testament of you as a person. Because you can give everybody like the right answers, but if they don't want it for themselves, it's kind of like no bueno. But I think this is a good time for you to meet my business partner, Vlad. I'll let him introduce himself.
What's going on?
Not much, man. How are you?
I'm good. It's good to meet you. Yeah. Lionel told me about you. I think Lionel, actually, you a few times sent me, as your account was growing, Brandon, he was like, yo, I gave this guy content advice, and he's actually like implementing it. You know, the account's taking off. So it's good to be on a call. It's good to meet you.
It's nice to meet you, bro. Yeah, I took a look at your YouTube video that Lionel sent me, the one where you were going over like that 32-page document that you had. I listened to like the first half of it this morning on my way to go coach a client, but I haven't finished it. But yeah, there's some good stuff in there.
Was it helpful?
Yeah, absolutely. I think especially like one of the pieces that people don't really understand is like building that connection with people before they're trying to do the setting, right? Like that is something that's so important just with like basic human psychology whenever you're trying to convert people. So that's something that like I have been really trying to do, is build that connection with individuals whenever I'm having conversations with them, and try to not only address like the pain points that they're experiencing, but also try and to empathize with them exactly like what you.
Yeah, no, it's super important, because it's like people set like bots, and then most of the time it's because they just forget they're talking to a real person, right? Yeah. It's like and this also happens with there's just a lot of leads. It's like, you know, there's 50 leads a day, and all the leads just blend for like a setter or a person who's trying to set them on calls. And so they just start, you know, kind of talking to all 50 people, like it's just like one person, just copy and paste stuff, right? But then you know, that's not what's going to convert the highest. Because people can feel that, right? They can see if you're talking to them like a bot.
Yeah, absolutely.
After you've broken the ice, it's time for you and your date to get to know each other. If you suck at dating, you're gonna think that means you guys go back and forth about your life story. The real ones know that this just means that you let your date do all the talk while you sit back, listen, and ask specific questions that you'll use later on in the conversation after you've made your big ask. Discovery during a sales call works the same way. The prospect needs to do 80% of the talking while you sit back, listen, and ask specific questions to get answers to specific things that you'll need during the close.
I know we went a little bit back and forth through DMs before we booked this call, but I want to give you an opportunity to just catch us up on a little bit of the content side, but most importantly, the business side, because at the end of the day, we're here to help grow businesses, right? So we need just a better picture of everything you've done so far and where you're at right now.
Yeah, so for the on the content side of things, I mean, it's just staying consistent. Basically, exactly what you told me at that first meeting, Lionel, is just see what's working for other people and just copy and put your own spin on things. It's not that difficult, as well as like trial reels. I mean, I've gained the most followers just from hammering trial reels. Like I will do my best to post if it lets me, it maxes me out. I will max out trial reels. So I don't know what that number is. I've heard that it's different for everybody. So I just hammer trial reels. I max it out, try and post whatever it is, 10 to 15 videos a day, again, until it caps me out. And then I either have to wait or I can only post 2 or 3 a day. And then from a business perspective, I just have no idea what I'm doing. I don't know. I've been looking things up. YouTube is there's just a lot of information. One person will tell you to do one thing, then another person will tell you to do another.
On the coaching side, right? I know you said that you're around 3 to 4K per month right now. Talk to me about. Actually, let me back that up. Right, you say that there's just a lot for you to learn right now, right? How much clarity do you feel like you have towards like the coaching side of things?
On like a scale of 1 to 10, I'll say like a 4. I'll say that. I don't know how to convert my audience into paying customers. I don't know how to do that. Am I not posting enough what is it called? Informational, educational is the word I'm looking for. Am I not posting enough educational content? And is the content that is becoming popular and going viral and attracting new followers, are those individuals not there to see to buy the coaching, right? So I guess it's like, am I attracting the right ideal client? Yeah. That's
Okay.
one of the biggest things.
Well, let's start off with who is your ideal client?
My ideal client is anybody from ages probably 25 to 45. I know it's a wide range, male or female. And I know that people say that you should have just a very specific ideal client, like either be a specialist in weight loss or muscle gain or something like that. That doesn't. Do you think I need to pick one?
Let me get a better understanding of the overall picture first.
Okay.
So your ideal client is anybody between the ages 25 to 45, male and female. And what is your offer?
My offer right now is $1,000 for the package. Right now, I'm trying to do for $1,000 for the 12 weeks. What I say, I don't know if this is good sales or not, but what I say is I typically charge $2,000 for the 12-week program. But right now I need more social proof of what I am doing. So I offer people a 50% discount for the program. So then I cut it down to $1,000. And most of the time, whenever because I've been on, we'll say 6 to 8 calls in the past 3 weeks with individuals, but then whenever I give them even the $1,000 discount part, then they're like, oh, that's too much money. So then that right there, maybe I'm just not qualifying people enough prior to hopping on that call. That's whenever I sent you those questions that I've been asking. I implemented the financial piece on there after I had 4 or 5 people say that's just too expensive, because I wanted to gauge why, or I wanted to gauge where they were financially to be able to afford the program.
How many leads are you getting per day?
Per day, maybe 1 per day, unless I am posting a CTA on my Instagram stories. If I'm posting a CTA on my Instagram story, then I will get 30 leads.
More important question, what do you qualify as a lead? Is it a follower? Is it somebody that DMs you a keyword?
Somebody that DMs me a keyword.
Okay. How many followers are you getting per day?
I will get anywhere between 100 to 200 or 300 a day. I'm averaging over. I mean, I could go back and look, but I'm averaging around there.
Okay. What do you think is your current bottleneck? Well, actually, right now, better question. I know you're at 3 to 4K, right? what do you feel like your most immediate goal would be with your program?
Like I to scale. I want to scale, and I like financially the goal is to hit a 20K a month. That's my most immediate goal. From there, I mean, I have ideas for plenty of stuff to be able to do. But yeah, that's the immediate goal.
Okay. What do you feel like your biggest bottleneck towards getting there is?
Lack of knowledge. I don't know. Should I be posting more CTAs? Do I need to have a website for a landing page, right? I have all these questions, and I may not even have all the questions that I have that I need answers to or that I want answers to written down at the moment. But I do have questions because I just lack knowledge on what to do. I go on YouTube Academy and I get 15 different things. I scroll on social media to all the quote unquote gurus that are doing it, and I get a mixed information from everybody.
Okay. So how you've been solving that lack of knowledge is just by consuming as much content as you possibly can, right? Just to what's it called? Overcome that, correct?
Yeah, I see somebody, and I'm a victim of it too. I see a bright, shiny new car that has a V12 in it, and I'm like, hey, this guy must be doing something right. Let me go see what he's got going on. And so I go and I check. I've got like 4 tabs pulled up of different creators right now that are all doing similar stuff, right? They're the coaches coaching coaches. So I'm like, all right, let me see how much I can learn from you without actually buying your program. So that's what I've been doing, and that's essentially my library right now that I'm going to check stuff out.
How long do you plan on keeping doing that for?
I mean, as long as it takes for me to hit the goal, you know what I mean? I'll keep consuming as much as I can to be able to learn as much as I can. I've taken small things from people and I've implemented them into like the CTA stuff, posting stories and things like that. And whenever I got that 30, I think it was like close to 35 people, for a lead is whenever I followed somebody's recommendation that they just posted a reel about how to do it. So then I followed that and I got the most leads that I have ever gotten from just doing that.
Okay. In what ways have you invested in yourself other than just the consumption of knowledge to solve this specific problem?
Nothing.
May I ask why?
Oh, just financially right now, I want to sign up for. I actually had an idea of signing up literally for every single coaching program, and I'm like, if I had the financial means to do it, and I would review every single one of them, I'm like, who would be the best, right? I was like, that would be a great content idea, but just financially right now, I'm not in a place where I can invest into something that is $5,000 for me to have a 12-week course. You know what I mean?
Is that the symptom or is that the problem?
Both, right? They coexist together.
The reason why I asked that is because your biggest bottleneck right now is a lack of knowledge, right?
Mhm.
And what you've been doing, which is really smart, is just consuming as much knowledge as possible, right? What happens though, right, is that there's conflicting information when you consume a lot of knowledge. One person might tell you to do one thing, another person might tell you to do another. Sometimes one person will tell you to do something that's completely opposite of the other person. I'm sure you've experienced that, right? And it just clutters and it makes everything so confusing, right? Now, easiest way to cut through that is by investing, right? What that allows you to do is just to be more precise with the information. Because at the end of the day, right, we can understand like not being in the best financial situation, but you're always paying, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
You're either paying with your time or you're paying with your wallet. It's just there's an opportunity cost associated with paying with your time. Because how many months have you been at 3 to 4K per month in a row?
2.
2 months, right? So if you had the knowledge to be able to get to 20K, right? Instantly, you would have got there 2 months ago. So that means that each month that you're not at 20K is costing you $16,000 just based off the opportunity cost, right? So it's just an evaluation of how long do you plan on continuing to pay that? Because you're paying $16,000 a month to not know how to get to $20,000.
Absolutely. It's a great way to put it. Absolutely.
So how long do you plan on continuing to pay that?
I don't want to any longer, that's for sure.
I can understand that. So what I want to do is I want to open the world of possibilities, right? How do I phrase this correctly? I believe that I know you're a hard worker, so that's not the issue, right? It's just resourcefulness, right? Because you're saying that you agree, and please correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't want to put words in your mouth, right? You know that you would reach your goal faster if you just invested in the skill set that is required to get there.
Oh, absolutely, 100%.
Right, and the reason why you're telling yourself you can't invest is because you're not in the financial situation to be able to invest, right? But in order to be in a financial situation to be able to invest, you have to have the skill sets to get you to that financial situation.
Yeah, absolutely.
But to get that skill set, the fastest way to get there is to invest. You see how, and this is a very this is a common bottleneck, right? Because it's like it's in it's a negative feedback loop, right? Because it's we know that we want to invest in order to get the financial goal that we want, right? But we recognize that we are not in the and I'm saying we because I used to be exactly where you're at, right? Before I ever made any money online, I paid $6,000, right? I gave somebody at $10,000 in the bank account, gave somebody $6,000, had $4,000 to live off of until I figured it out. We recognize we have a goal we want to hit. We can't get there because we don't have the skill to get there, right? But the reason why we don't have the skill to get there is because we don't have the knowledge. So we never invest in ourselves to get the knowledge that will allow us to get to that skill. It's like it's the trap. It's a trap, and it's I'm not saying that you can't get through it without investing, right? You're a very smart guy. You're a hard worker. I'm just saying is like, okay, which path is faster for you? Is it the path of just continuing to consume as much information, right? Hoping that we eventually find something that works and accelerates the process, or just cutting through all the noise? That's really the question that we're asking here.
Yeah, no, it's definitely cutting through all the noise and getting something down, and like you said before, getting systems into place as soon as possible to be able to just optimize what I got going on and to be able to hopefully scale it to past 20K, right? That's my goal, that not immediate, but it is a goal. So definitely cutting through it, and that's obviously the quickest and easiest route.
100%. Depending on you, right, we might be able to help you in your situation. If you're open to having a conversation, we can explore how that would look like. But that's only if you're open to having that conversation.
Absolutely. Of course I'm open to having that conversation. I mean, Vlad, I know this is our first time meeting. I reviewed your YouTube video and it was solid info. And Lionel, I mean, you helped me tremendously a few months ago, so I'd love to hear what you have to say, and that's what I'm here for.
After you've gotten to know your date and you guys have eaten dinner, it's time to start opening the door to moving the date to a more private location. But you have to avoid the mistake that most guys make, sounding too desperate. You want to be confident and you want to keep things short, simple, and contextual to your date. If she's a girl that's into art, you tell her you have an amazing painting at your house and you would love for her to come see it. If she's into wine, you tell her that you have an amazing wine collection and you would love to share a glass with her. The key principle here is that your offer has everything a potential prospect could need, but you only bring up the things that you've learned have value to your prospect.
So this is our offer, right, that I believe will work for you in your current situation, right? Because the thing that you're missing right now is just a whole bunch of clarity, right? So going through all of this, right, I'm gonna keep it very short and very simple, right? First thing first is just our proof, right? These are offers that we've worked on personally. This is an offer we scaled to multiple six figures in 7 months. We have another offer that we worked on that with this creator, he had about 5,000 followers. We got him to 50K per month. Just skipping through all of this, we have a lot of proof here, right? What you really care about is how all that is going to work for you. Number one, we're going to give you an exact roadmap to scale your offer, right? That's going to take care of the lack of clarity, because we're going to take care of figuring out everything for you. And then we're literally just going to get on a call with you. And we're going to tell you exactly what you need to do, from the content to the posts to the CTAs you need to use, right? The setter script that you need to use as well, right? Because we also need to refine your ICP. An earlier question you had asked me is if you feel like we need to get more refined on the targeting. Answer is yes, right? The targeting needs to get refined, and we need to increase the price for your offer, if we're being honest, by at least 3 times, right? And we can get into that. So this is going to be the roadmap that we're going to make for you. But of course, we understand that if we just hand you off a roadmap, some things are going to get lost in translation. Great thing about that is that for every single offer we ran, right, this is almost 7.4 million at this point in client results. We follow the same playbook, and we tweak some things depending on the niche, the avatar we're attracting, and the creator itself. But we have everything templatized into an SOP document for every single stage of the funnel, right? So how to write a VSL, how to construct an offer, how to hire and manage sales staff, right? We have all of that. On top of that, another bonus that we have with you is that while you're carrying out the strategy on your own, right, and you have the instructions that tell you exactly what needs to be done, right? There's going to be points in time where it's like, oh, I'm confused here. What's going on? We have extension calls where we hop on the phone with you and we just iron out your exact bottlenecks. Just like we did with one of our past clients right here. Not only that, we can review your entire process at any point in time with our live support. Now,
at this point, there's not too many more connections I can make between dating and sales, because you're going to start getting no's by now, and teaching you that not taking no for an answer during dating is going to get me in trouble. So we're going to stick to sales from now on. But it was fun while it lasted. Speaking of no's, at this point in the sales call, you're at the pre-handling section. The point here is to extract as many no's as possible before you drop the price, because no's before price are just obstacles from your offer, but no's after price are objections to your offer. While you watch through the section, notice how I never disagree with the prospect. It's always yes, and you need to agree with whatever the prospect tells you and reframe it into something that is advantageous to you and your company.
Looking at that pretty much, right? What do you feel like you would benefit from the most, and what do you feel like you would not benefit so much from?
I would say that the SOP document, I'm really good at looking at something, implementing it, being able to do that. What maybe and you didn't necessarily say this, but the fear that comes into my head is I do enjoy being a creator, and I do enjoy doing what I like to do for my content. And so just how you say, we'll tell you like what to post and all that sort of stuff. And I know you didn't say it, but I don't want you to control my content. I do recognize that you would probably just, here's what here's the groundwork. Now you build on top of that and you spin it in your own way, just like you said previously about other people's content. But that's just one of the things that I wouldn't want to happen. You know what I mean?
You know, the great part about this is because I know you so well. Typically, part of this offer is telling the creator what to post, right? I skipped this whole entire part because I assumed that and I know assumptions are not the best thing to do, but I had a feeling that you wouldn't appreciate that with the amount of work that you've put into your content so far, right? So the great thing about that is for the content itself, right? Typically, we look at somebody's content and tell them like, cut that out, stop doing this, only post this, right? For you, we don't necessarily need to do that. We might need to give some little tweaks just to get target harder, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
We wouldn't have to take control like we typically do. Anything else?
No. I mean, all of it sounds great. Maybe the accountability part, like I don't need as much of the accountability. You know what I mean? If we have like a call and you're like, hey, I need you to do X, Y, and Z. I mean, I'm gonna rock it. You know what I mean?
The best part about the accountability is, right, for those extension calls, you're the one that decides when you need them. Because the worst thing that that happens for me is, right, not having a personalized program. Right. So somebody sells you on a 12-week program and they force you to get on a call every single week. It's like, well, what if you progress faster than somebody else? You just need all 12 calls within 12 days because you're making that much progress. What if you don't progress as fast and you need those calls spread out over a long period of time? Right. It's completely tailored to what you need. Right. So you're actually the one that dictates whenever we have those extension calls, so to speak. Right. Anything else?
Just learning more about closing. You know what I mean? I think that I do okay with sales. I'm not I'm not your number one salesman over here.
That's okay.
So I definitely would need to learn more about that sort of stuff.
The great thing about the SOPs, right? There's a sales process in there, right? And honestly, once you're at 50K a month, you don't want to be doing none of the clothing, because that's enough revenue being generated for you to just hire a closer. And then it shows you how to hire a closer, how to source a closer in the SOP documents, right? Because I'm imagining, do you want to be the one closing on your offer for eternity?
No, not necessarily. No, definitely not.
No, so the goal is to get you good enough to close till you get to 50K, and then after that point, we get you off of closing. So you can focus on the more important things, which is building the rest of your personal brand. Right? That sound fair?
Absolutely.
Okay. Anything else?
No.
At this point, this is where you've dropped the price and you're going to start getting the real no's. And this is my favorite part of the sales process. You see, while everybody runs away from no's, I see no's as the beginning to yes. This section is what separates the sales reps from the closers.
And I'm guessing you want to answer from me now.
I mean, it's not even a question of I want an answer now. It's more of a question. What would the delay be for?
I guess like a fear of mine is if we're going to milk my audience as much as we can now so that we can get that 8K paid off, then how much milk is there going to be left for me afterwards of that, right? So that's a fear there. And then then one of the things is going to be, but then you're going to bring more leads in with the SOP and so on and so forth there to be able to continue to generate more income. So those are just the things that run through my head and whatnot.
That's fair, and I actually appreciate you for just being honest and upfront about what's running through your head. A lot of people just say, oh, I gotta go think about it, and then don't really tell us what's going on. But the best thing about this is that we can work through this together, right? A couple of things to break down in that, right? I want to explore the framing of a couple of things that you said. Why do you perceive it as milking the audience? Because that has a negative connotation of
Yeah.
associated with it.
Why? Just because, and everybody does it. I know that, but I guess the it's not happening as organically as it was prior to me bringing somebody in.
What do you mean by that?
Oh, well, right now, I guess I am just doing it all myself. And so I'm the only person that has hands on with anything, and which has its pros and cons. Number one, it is all me. And so my clients are only getting what I have, for better, for worse, like I said. And for worse, it is worse for me because I'm not able to capitalize on the opportunity. Right. So that's the, I guess, why I use the negative phrase there.
Help me understand the emotionality behind that. Do you feel like we would be taking anything away from you?
Not taking anything away from me, but taking away, it's unfortunately it's a part of getting into business, right? You become a part of corporate America, and you have to corporatize yourself to be able to provide the life that I want, the life that I want my family to live, right? There is a part of selling your soul that you have to do whenever you're going through this process. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about that. And it is the unfortunate reality of living in a capitalistic society. So that is where the moral and value and having integrity comes in for me. Now, am I willing to sell a part of my soul to be able to obtain that? I mean, maybe that. Again, those are the types of questions and things that run through my head.
Can I tell you something that might offend you? It might blow this deal up, but I believe that if you take it well, will help
Yeah,
you make so much money with or without us.
yeah, absolutely.
You don't. The reason why you haven't been able to scale, right, has nothing to do with the systems or anything, right? You don't like making money, right?
There's
Because
a piece of that, absolutely.
from what I'm hearing, right, because the world is the world isn't black and white. The world is just, it just exists. But based on the perception that we have on the world, that's what we paint it as, right? From my understanding of what you're saying, right, there's resistance, right, towards this because you feel like monetizing the audience, there needs to be a release, right, a selling of your soul, as in it's bad to do so, right, because you're sacrificing a part of yourself, right. um that's not the best mentality to have when you're trying to make money, right? Because number one, it's not true. It can be true, but it doesn't have to be.
Mm.
This goes back to what I was saying before. Yeah, there are people that sell coaching, right? And they don't care about their clients, right? And they have bad reputations, but those people don't last. They always get sniffed out and taken out the market, right? You're the person that decides whether you're selling your soul or you're helping the souls of others. But if we cast that before we even get into the opportunity, right? We are already assigning that negative association. Like, how are you? Like, be honest. How are you planning on scaling with or without us? With the 6K SOPs or anything? How are you planning on scaling to 100K per month with that mentality?
Accepting the fact that I do have to be a part of capitalism in a pretty significant way. You know, I've had these conversations with myself. I've had these conversations with other people around me, and that's just it's just the name of the game. But I mean, you fed a hell of a line right there. You can either, it's not selling your soul, or if you're, well, I forget what you said verbatim, but or helping the souls of other people. So that was a hell of a line. That was a good one.
It's not even just a line; it's just truth, right? Because
No, absolutely, absolutely. I'm not trying to say that you're feeding me bullshit. No, I'm just saying that was good.
I think a better question is to ask, or a better frame to ask is, instead of viewing it as like, oh, now I have to feed into capitalism, you have to ask yourself, what type of capitalist do you want to be? Because capitalism is everywhere, but there are capitalists that, yeah, they make an income, but they make an income bettering the world, and that's their
Yeah.
primary objective, right?
Absolutely.
And then of course there are capitalists that only care about themselves and care about taking away from others. Now, is there a skew towards the more selfish capitalists, which is why capitalism as a whole, it has a very negative connotation?
Mm.
Yes, there is. But the world doesn't define how I view the world. I define how I view the world.
Yeah.
Right? Because I can see how what somebody else does has nothing to do with me. Capitalism is not a good or bad thing, right? It's just a system, right? Where it's an exchange of value at its core. That's all it is, right? It's just, are you abusing the other half, or is the other half abusing you? Because that's another thing, right? Because let's say you didn't have to feed into capitalism, right? Quote unquote, going with that line of thinking, right? Are you going to help people out for free and give yourself up and lift all these other people with nothing in return?
I mean, essentially, I have been for the past 3.5 years, and maybe this is the unfortunate part of what I have been doing is I've been working with nonprofits for the past 3.5 years, and so that's what my bread and butter is. I help people and I bust ass, unfortunately, for pennies on the dollar. And another reason why I want to do this is because I'm tired of getting paid $25, $30 an hour to do what I'm doing. And I feel like what I am doing and the way I'm impacting people's lives is worth more than that. And so that is another reason why I started doing this.
So why are you being opposed? So help me understand why you're opposed to being worth more, knowing that you're doing it with the right intention.
I need you to listen to how I phrased that question. This is the most important part of the objection handling process. What you need to understand is that every prospect is exactly where they're at because of how they view the world. And all objections come from prospects having worldviews that don't align with their goals. So if you actually want to close your calls, you need to help your prospects shift their worldview. Just think through this call. He's currently at 4K per month, and he wants to get to 20K per month and eventually 100K per month. But he has a negative worldview towards capitalism. Whether he works with me or not, how is he supposed to achieve that goal with that worldview? His internal world and his external world would be at a constant conflict. The question I've asked, and more importantly, how I've asked, forces him to reevaluate how he looks at the world. And no matter how he responds, I can use it to introduce and reinforce a worldview that is more aligned to his goal.
Well, because those are just the thoughts that come to my head. You know what I mean? Those are just the things that the internal conflicts that I have whenever I were to tell somebody, hey, I need time to think about it or whatnot, then that's what comes into my head.
If you're opposed to making money, right, you're just never going to make money no matter what we do, right? And I would love to sit here and make the world and promise everything, but it's like, it's even with the followers thing, right? I remember there was a point in time where you hit me up and you had a goal of hitting 10K by the end of like this year. I told you, what are you talking about, bro? You can hit that before the end of this week, and you did that, right? It's just there's a lot of perceptive changes that need to be happening because business.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree at all.
Everybody thinks that business is this like complex thing, right? Business is just a reflection of us internally, because how we operate as the business owner is going to dictate how we view the specific problems within our business, right? And because of how we view the different problems within our business, we're going to solve it in a different way. And depending on how we solve it is going to increase or decrease the efficiency of that solution. But it all stems from the self and how we view the world internally. If I hope I'm explaining myself well here, but it's business is a lot of internal work.
No, you definitely are, and I do not disagree that I still have a lot of work to do on my internal self. Especially whenever it comes to the business side of things. Like I said before, am now just venturing into the business owner side of things versus being an employee. Never not been an employee, right? This is my first time. So I have to start changing my mindset, start thinking. One of the biggest things is just trying to live a life of abundance, and having that mentality behind things. All right. I mean, if you guys are willing to take the leap of faith on me, then I'll take the leap of faith on you guys, and we'll rock.
Okay, so you learn how to actually run a sales call, but who cares? Because that VSL that you put so much time and effort towards is about to stop working, meaning that you won't be booking any calls to begin with. Watch this video next to learn why your VSL will stop working and what you can do to fix it.